Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? This is your guy, Resla, and I want to thank you for appearing, or at least listening to another episode of Opinionated with yours truly, Resla, Reggie, but people know me pretty much online as Resla. Uh, the combination of my name, hear the intro, you'll get everything if you haven't already. And I made a video that I put out on YouTube, and pretty much it was the things to consider if quitting your job and starting over is on your mind. But I gave some context to some things that we could talk about, how some things that people do, things they think about, some small ways to prepare. There are things that I did for myself, like creating assessments and charts for myself. But we really need to deep dive a little bit more. When I do my videos, I tend to wing them. To be honest with you, whether it's my actual live streams or whether it's my actual videos, there are things that are on my mind because I believe that when people are speaking to me, not speaking to me, but well, yes, that too. But when people are seeing me, that they should be getting the most authentic version of me. Sometimes I write things out to have bullet points for myself, the things to talk about, but really the thoughts that you get about me are typically genuine. And as I was looking through that video again, I just had to write some things down, and really put a little bit of notes to that this time because I thought it was very important that we get more down than what the actual video has stated. And I'm going to talk a little about that. So in this video, it's going to be basically the signs for sure that it's time for you to quit your job. So before, the last one was things to consider, pretty much if you're quitting your job and you want to start over, and that's something that's in your mind. But this one is for sure things that it's time for you to leave your job and the things that you should consider before that. All right, so let's dive into it. So, based on some of the things that we talked about before, let's just say that let's just go over some of the reasons why you really want to leave your job, and I'll mention some of the things that happened to me before. And it's first one, you feel burnt out. You're exhausted. You're basically exhausted. You are exhausted. And your job is taking more from you than you can give. And there's a mind frame that's already taking place in your mind that when you think about your job, even if you're not at your job, it makes you feel consistently drained. You don't really have the energy. You don't have anything left pretty much to get to them. And now it's really just a good sign to clear out and just quit. Another reason would be that you don't see any opportunities for growth in your career advancement. I mean, if an organization doesn't provide a chance for you to develop new skills or even to take responsibilities that'll be more for you, it may be time for you to just look for a whole new job. Look for somewhere else that can offer you professional growth. Something else I was thinking about is your workplace. It's time for you to really take a good look at your workplace because if you already established that your workplace is toxic, really toxic, and I mean maybe some of the issues like discrimination or it's like workplace gossip, things that can be harmful, it could be high employee turnover. These are things that I know I've done with. All three of those I've already done with. Or it's the lack of leadership. Whether you have a leader or a manager who's just not capable of doing the job, or the fact that you can never hold on to actual leadership because of say like turnover. A toxic environment that is so negatively impacting, it draws on your mental health. It draws on your strength. And not for nothing, it's a good reason to leave. Something else I was thinking about is like if you say you go to work, right? But you actively avoid procrastination on your job. And say when you go to work, you still approach it with dread. You already have that good feeling of burnout. When you start like developing bad habits and your job is already causing you to be in distress, again, I'm going to stress it again. You need to move on. These are signs. It's not signs for you to get over it. It's not time to consider your options. It's time for you to get over it. It's time for you to move on. And let's just say your job is negatively affecting the way how you're physically and emotionally feeling when it comes to your well-being. If your work is basically taking a serious toll on your health, you got to prioritize yourself. Like, honestly, prioritize yourself, prioritize your well-being. You perhaps need to find a brand new job. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you seeking something else for yourself. Sometimes you feel guilty for some of you people out there because we all come with different characteristics. Maybe you're the person who you don't leave because you want to take care of the people around you because you've gotten to know these people for a while. I get it. But the truth of the matter is that not everybody feels the same way about you as you do about them. Maybe there's some people that if you feel like if they were just gone, things could get better in your department. But the truth of the matter is that you don't know when they'll be gone. And do you want to suffer? A little sipper, you mean? Do you want to suffer in silence or suffer even very loudly for something that, quite frankly, can never be done about them? Because, quite frankly, we all have a process for eliminating bad cohorts, bad colleagues. Can you really sit there and suffer through that? Because if that's the case, if they are your only reason, let me just ask you the real question. If they're never going to get better, why are you still there? Do you not think that you're valuable enough to get somewhere else? Hmm? And then there's the question of this. I've been doing this for so long. Most of my resume is based on where I currently work at. How can I prepare for leaving the job? And I would say to you that you need to make a plan. I know it sounds crazy, but you need to first make a plan and also make a budget. I mentioned some of this in my video, but I'm going to get a little bit deeper with you on this one. At least I hope to. And first, sorry, put something on my list for your chat. First, I want you to ensure that you have a plan for your next steps. Whether it's to find another job and line yourself up for that, or whether you plan on taking a line of unemployment, a period of unemployment where you're not going to be doing anything. I want you to create a budget to your account for the potential loss of income. This is a scary thing, but you need to get prepared for it. Next, I want you to think about whether you need to roll over your retirement account. Before leaving, properly roll over your 401 account or basically other retirement savings to avoid any penalties that you might maintain, you know, through your personal growth. Because you're going to need to ensure that you have access to whatever money you can for your future. And I get it. You never plan to take from your 401, and it might be something you may need to consider to do because just of how the climate of work is right now. You may need to consider that. But you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're basically locked in, or even worse, like I said, you're taking penalties. You want to avoid that. Next, if you're going to be leaving this place because you're preparing to leave this place, leave on good terms. I want you to be professional because some people just want to just say, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Okay. No, leave on good terms. Be professional, be positive, especially in your final days. Even if you had conflict with other coworkers, and most likely you all have, you know, some of us are awesome, like me. Some of us we need to hold other people accountable, and if they don't like it, they are forever mad at us, forever, forever mad at us. And that doesn't even translate to everybody that's in your department. So even if you've had conflict with other coworkers, try to leave on the most professional notes that you've had for the final days. Avoid burning any bridges because everybody's a part of your network. Even those people who totally dislike you, I mean, we know we can't really use them, but you know. And if you ever need a reference, you need to make sure that you keep in connection with those people in the future. Hit up the job, your former job at this point. Say that you're still thinking about them. You want to know if everything was okay with them. They can't really talk long because they've been, they're on the job. But you say, hey, I just want to make sure that you were still there. You were still good. Hey, girl. Hey, guy. Just want to make sure you're still good. I know how hard it's gonna be there. I just wanted to make sure that you're still doing what you want to do, and just letting you know that even though I'm not there, thinking about you. All right. Cool. Stay safe. Another thing would be to be cautious about basically counter offers. When you are there, say the day of, when you are talking to your manager or your leader or whoever your direct supervisor is, if your employer offers you a raise or a promotion to get you to stay, I want you to carefully consider whether the original reason for leaving still applies. I don't want you thinking about chasing the money unless money was the ultimate reason why you think about leaving. I'll say it again for you. I want you to carefully consider whether the reason that you're leaving still applies. I want you to preserve the importance of work. I want you to preserve also the importance of work samples and, of course, your contacts. I want you to make copies of performance reviews before you walk out that door, because you're not going to get all this stuff once you leave. Don't expect your HR to give it to you. Don't expect your HR to walk into your goddamn file to give you all the positive things about you, because you are no longer with the company. They have no reason to give you anything. Get all of these things prior to you saying, I am ghost. Make sure you get copies of performance reviews. Make sure you get all your work samples, and make sure you get all the contact information from colleagues you want to stay with in touch. You want to stay in touch with all the people that you want to stay in touch with. Get their numbers prior to before you walk out the door. Any other time you walk in there, you will be considered trespassing. Get all the stuff you need before you walk out that door. Before you say I don't instead of I do, like you did to walk in there, you say I don't and you walk out. Get all the people's numbers that you are cool with. Get them in your phone, get them in your Facebook, get them in your LinkedIn, get them in your Instagram, whatever. Get their information. Don't just get their phone number that used to work. Get their phone numbers and get their email addresses. Not just to the job, because you don't know. At some point, they may lose their job too. Don't just get their work email, get their personal email address. Everyone has one, because everyone has to look for work. And everyone has to use an email address to apply for work. Get their phone number, get their personal email address. Do yourself that favor. When you're going upon the point where you are talking with your employer and you decide to resign, resign properly. Now, some of us, we don't work in contract. A lot of us, we don't work in a union. Most of us work for at will employment. If they so much as scratch their balls and say that I think this is the time for us to separate, it is what it is. Some of us, it works the same way. It's at will employment. If we just say, I want to scratch my ass and say it's time to go, no one can force you to put in a certain amount of weeks. With that being said, we're talking about preparing to leave. That means they don't got a clue, but you do. And what I would like you to do is to preserve the integrity of that job, even if you can no longer stand to be there anymore. So if you know you're going to leave, prepare a window of tolerance. Resign properly, please. Schedule a meeting with your manager. Give proper notice as required. Submit a formal resignation. Don't just walk up and just like, again, and I'm out. And I'm out. Okay. Don't. Have an actual formal written letter. Whether you want to send it to them, I would say send it to your manager through their email. But honestly, if you could do it, so here's what I would say: if you can do it face to face, that's number one. That's the first thing, first route you should go. Number two is if you can't really reach out to them, try reaching out to them. It's like on Teams, if whatever platform they use. Maybe some people use Teams. Maybe some use Zoom. Maybe some people use Loom. You can do that, and that's if you can't really reach out to them. And if that really goes on to say maybe they're on vacation or something like that, then you reach out to your most HR rep. But be sure to write your resignation. And last on that is plan a celebration. Most people don't do this. If you know you're about to, especially if like you say you have something better lined up for you, because some of us have to leave and we don't necessarily have another job lined up. Some of us leave and we have a better opportunity lined for ourselves. So it depends on where you are. Because I would say the same thing for people who retire. Plan a celebration. After your last day, take time to restart and celebrate your next steps. Whether you have something lined up or not, take the time to celebrate what you're about to do next. Whether it's a vacation or it's just a nice dinner, you should do that. Some of us are working paycheck to paycheck, so it's like, eh. But I think when you decide that you want to take things into your own hands and you want to move forward from person, you should treat yourself. Hell, I treat myself just on a breakup. On a breakup, it's something to mourn, but on the day of the separation, when I realize the freedom that I have is just me, I have to focus on, it's just me. I celebrate. You can mourn afterwards, but you can also celebrate the fact that you need to look after yourself and you want to think about taking care of someone else. Um, the key idea is that you want to lead professionally. You want to preserve whatever integrity and whatever important information that you can. Preserve those shits, please. Your contacts, everything, but you wanted to get that shit done before departing. And of course, following up, you want to follow in these steps to make sure that you have a smooth transition into your next opportunity. How to handle the counter offer. Some of you, not most of you, but some of you, if you're really good at what you do, if the company really understands just how much you carry your team, because this happens, you might be presented with a counter offer from your employer before you leave your job. If you are one of these people who have managed to be in this particular position, right? Some of us have been there, some of us have not, but for those who have been there and have never experienced this, when it happens, I'm just going to say when, I'm not going to say if. Because I believe that you are all capable people. You are all very good at what you do. So therefore, we're just going to say when. When this happens, I need you to do something. I need you to be transparent and be collaborative. What do I mean by that? When the first time that you're offered, you know, you're offered this first When you're offered this information from your manager about the other job offer, when you first tell them about this, I want you to don't already be presenting an ultimatum. I say this to people who want to get a raise. The same way how you do not go to your manager and present an ultimatum as to getting a raise, do not present an ultimatum when you are being presented with a counter offer. You need to be transparent and you need to be collaborative. So let's get into that, right? Instead of saying something like, uh, I have a pending offer that basically is appealing to me, but it's all due to my salary. Not for nothing. Is there something that we can do to bridge the gap of my compensation so I can stay on the team? This invites your manager to work with you, basically, to find a solution. Like, let me just say that again for you guys so you can get the actual context of the conversation before you understand what I'm saying. If you say something, instead of just saying, well, say it's just say the person says, hey, is there something wrong? Like, why you want to leave? What if we're able to give you more hours? What if we're able to give you less hours? What if we're able to provide you with some more compensation? I don't want you to be like, well, then you need to give me more compensation or I'm out the door. That's not the way to go through it. Hey, I come here and I do way more work than I need to do. Because I could tell you from someone who deals in leadership and management, right? If a person comes to me and says that they believe that they deserve more compensation, I'm a, I'm a keenly listening to what they're saying. I'm gonna say that again. I'm keenly being aware of what you're saying. If you are the type of employee that says, "Oh, I believe everybody here works hard and everybody should get more money," you're dead in the water. You won't never see a raise outside of your peer uh peer or performance evaluation. For those who are here listening to me who may be working for HR, you know what I mean. And I get, well, we wouldn't do that in my company. You are, but ooh, you're lucky I'm not on YouTube. I would be playing a clip saying, a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit. You know that, and I know that. First of all, you're there to look after the company's interests more than the actual people. Let's just get that straight. But if you are the type of employee that turns around and says you believe that everybody should get a raise, you are undeserving of one. As a manager or leader, when I am assessing the strengths, the weaknesses, and the contributions that are happening within my team, let me tell you first and foremost that I think that just like you're saying, everybody should get a raise. Cool, cool. I'm not even going to debate you on that. But it's something I already know about just the world in general and just these United States is that when, especially someone like myself who lives in New York City, when everybody gets a raise, inflation goes up. Inflation is not a good thing. Everybody has seen minimum wage come up and never deflation come down. When the minimum wage comes up, inflation goes up. So why would I ever think that the conversation for someone to tell me, well, I think everybody should get a raise? That's a negative thing. If everybody got a raise, then the cost of goods needs to also go up, which also hurts our customers, which also hurts the revenue for the business. For those who are employees, do not work for business in terms of management and do not work for terms of business when it comes to profit, Yes, some of you do sales, but you're not really involved with the intricacies of the ROI, with the actual revenue of the company. Do you know who gets paid pretty much on the back end? It's the employees. The first and foremost is that the company must pay its rent, the rental space. It must pay its bills, whether they are feeding you, whether they are providing entertainment, they pay their stuff. Then there are the other things they also have to pay out for, like your insurance. These are the other things that are already important. And then last but not least, locking in to make sure that they have all that stuff is to pay your actual income or salary. It's a trickle down. This is why we call it trickle down economics. The most important people first, down to the people who don't matter the most. Now, it has been a long time since I have ever worked for someone who could not pay me on time. There were people in my past when I was very much younger. Very rare, but you are the last on the totem pole to get paid. I'm just going to keep it funky with you. So when you walk up and you start giving ultimatums to say that you will leave if you don't receive X, I'm looking at you. I'm assessing your contribution to not just the team, but to the business at whole. And if I think that you are either replaceable or that you have maybe overestimated your own value, you can leave. Because here's something you forget for the people who do ultimatums: we don't need superstars. What we need is a team. And I would rather have someone who does, who meets expectations and everybody loves working with them than a freaking superstar that everyone walks on eggshells around. If you need me to repeat that again, I'll repeat it again for you. So hold on. I would rather, we're gonna use sports teams. I would rather have a franchise team of very talented players than to try to build a team around one individual. Be that the quarterback, be that the running back, be that the center, be that the point guard. I would rather build a strong team than have my entire team, my entire department, my entire division, my entire sales force be dependent on one individual. You can go. We'll be okay. Do not walk to your manager, or rather, even if your manager comes to you, do not offer an ultimatum. Instead, I want you to say something like, I have a pending offer that is appealing to me due to the salary. Is there something that we can do to bridge the gap in my compensation so I can stay on the team? Oh, in case some of you guys want to write that down, as someone who, like myself, has worked on many sides of the tables, many sides of the aisles, being in compliance, work with HRs, work with sales, work with merchandising teams, work like, come on. I'll repeat it for you one more time because I already have the script written out in my head from when I talk to people. I want you to say in quotes, I have a pending offer that appeals to me due to compensation. Is there something that we can do to bridge the gap in my compensation so that I can stay on the team? I need you to say it just like that. This invites your manager to work with you to find a solution. They may not be off. They may not be able to offer you something right then and there on the spot, but depending on what it is, because it may not even be compensation, it could be opportunity. It could be the chance for you just to let your manager know that you are seeking something more because maybe you've been that quiet mofo that never really said anything. You're hoping that someone else acknowledges you rather than you take the time to be acknowledged of your own damn work and present yourself to them. Do not expect people to notice you, especially my ladies. To my ladies. To my ladies. Stop thinking that people are just going to notice you because you do work. You need to make yourself be known. You being pretty in your work, the same way how you want to be pretty being attractive, it doesn't fly. You got to be aggressive, not throw a manager or a dude upside the wall, but you need to let them know that you are interested, that you want something. You have to. Closed mouths do not get fed, especially if you're good at what you do. You must. It is imperative that you state something. Imperative. Let's move on to the next thing. I want you to reflect on the reasons why you're leaving. Before accepting a counteroffer, I want you to carefully consider if the counteroffer is truly addressing the underlying issues as to why you were leaving. And again, the leaving could be a lack of opportunity. It could be a toxic work culture, or it could be the fact that you're just burnt out. The counter offer may be only a short term fix. And I need you to really and carefully consider those options. There's no sense in taking on, say, a compensation of uh, a counter offer of compensation if it doesn't address the fact that you're dealing with a low growth opportunity. If it doesn't deal with the fact that you're still dealing with a toxic work culture, if it doesn't deal with the fact that you are so overburdened with work that you are beyond the expectations and you're not going to see anything from it. Because let's be honest, if you're beyond the expectations, your burnout and your lack of opportunities, they go hand in hand. I need you to seriously take the time to consider it. I need you to, number three, I need you to understand the risk. Are we on three? Yeah, I think we're on three. I need you to understand the risk. And what I mean by understanding the risk is I need you to do some accepting of the counteroffer. Now, accepting the counteroffer can sometimes cause tension with your manager, believe it or not. It might even stump your growth within the company because they're kind of seeing you as having one foot out the door. If you say, yeah, I'll take that, they're thinking that they can only keep you because you're willing to accept that offer. But the moment you get tired of that offer, you may not stick around. The moment you get used to even being an offer, you might not stick around. There's a high chance that you may end up just leaving within 6 months to or at least to 3 years, since that seems to be the lifespan of people working in the industry these days, 3 years being the minimum. But if you just take a new offer just to hold them off, you may leave in just 6 months. Do yourself a favor. Instead of making a decision right then and there, this is number four. Instead of you making decisions right then and there, do yourself a favor. Request time to decide. If you really are the ish and that's the thing, you really need to assess where you really stand within the company. Cause some of y'all, I'm gonna just be honest, some of y'all think that y'all the ish and y'all nothing. You're not as badass as you think you are. When I worked in my company, I was as badass as I said I was. I need some of you to really, really do some introspection. Are you really as important as you think you are for your department? Not for the business, for the department that you work in. Because again, anybody can be trained to replace you. You'll never be the badass forever. So if you're given a particular offer that you might want to be considering on taking, request time to decide. I want you to ask your employer for a day or two. Because this is the thing, you might have a whole schedule. You might have a whole schedule. Let's just say you did this on Monday morning. You got Monday through Friday for some of you who work Monday through Friday. Not everyone you do. Ask your employer for a day or two to carefully weigh your options before you want to make your final decisions. Whether you show up to your job or whether you say, I just need some time to really think and you take the next 2 days off. This shows professionalism, by the way. It shows professionalism and it allows you to make a very informed choice. And I'm going to do number 5 now. If you are thinking about the fact that none of the things, the counteroffer that they offered you is good enough, I need you to be prepared to leave. If you do all of this shit, even take the time off to consider, and you turn around and say, "Mm, no, no, I think I'm gonna just stay," you fucked up. You fucked up. I need you to be prepared to leave. Don't stay. You'll never be considered for any opportunity again. Leadership, something else opens up somebody else. If you want to actually get a raise in the future, you do. If you turn around and say, I just changed my mind on everything, you will never see any opportunity moving forward. You have blacklisted yourself. You have ostracized yourself. You are dead in the water. Worse than anything else, because now you have made yourself a person of, regardless of how good you are inconsistent. You are a false flagger. You are a person of no real threat. You brandish a weapon with blanks. You are a horrible comedian. So if you take the time and you do everything else that's already been talking about, be prepared to leave. If you ultimately decide that you want to decline the offer and you want to take a new job, if you have a new job, I need you to be gracious and leave on good terms. Leave on good terms. Avoid burning bridges. You may need those people for references, which is why I said also to get everyone's number. Whether it's the cute girl or the cute guy, they even said they want to sleep with you, but you're not gonna give them any chance. But you just sit there and you just flirt with them because you just like fuck it. Get their number. Use them as a reference. Get your connections, and then move on. Now, I hear some of you guys like, well, what you're saying is good and all, wrestler. What you saying is good, Reg. But how do I prepare for that? You talking about me getting into the thing where I need to talk to basically my manager when I gotta communicate with them about my decision or whether I want to accept or decline this offer. No, but how do I do that? I got you covered. I got you covered because I've been through this before. Not saying I'm the best at it, but I've been through this and I've gone through this with my mentor and it helped me out. So first, I want you to express your appreciation. Huh? What? I'm trying to leave. You talking about expressing appreciation? Yeah. I want you to express appreciation. I want you to start by basically thanking your employer for offering you the counter offer and for recognizing the fact that you have value within the company. I want you to give them that respect that they showed some time to you, and it shows professionalism. I want you to explain the decision that you made. I want you to be clearly, and I want you to state that you've made a decision to either accept the call. Let's just say you accept it. I want you to explain and to clearly state that you accept the counter offer and you want to remain with the company. I want you to also explain that the revised compensation package, it aligns with your goals. I need you to tell them that I accept the new compensation and it aligns with my needs and my goals. So they don't think that you're running out the door. They want to feel like they made a deal that benefits not just you, but benefits them, that you won't renege later. I need you to tell them that. If you just say, that works for me, and you let it rock like that, you're still on the fence and they don't trust you. I need you to verbally tell them. I need you to verbally pinky swear with them that what they're offering with you is what daddy or what mommy wanted. And I need you to thank them for it. When you do that, I need you to reaffirm your commitment. I need you to basically assure to your employer that you are very excited to continue contributing to the team and to the company's mission and success. I need you to emphasize your loyalty and show some enthusiasm in your role because they gave you what you accepted. I need you to understand that. You accepted it. If it was just good enough, that's your fault because you're a terrible negotiator. If they gave you an offer and it wasn't good enough, you shouldn't have accepted it. But if you accepted it, if you did, I need you to be happy about it. I need you to show happiness about it. I need you to show enthusiasm about it. And I need for you to swear fealty to that company and its success because you accepted the offer. You did that. Integrity and loyalty means much to everyone. Your employer, your manager who you decide to say yes to, or in HR, whoever you it is. Whoever's the person who's representing the company while you're now sitting on the opposite side. I need you to swear fealty if you accept. Kiss the ring. Bend the knee. Because you said you was willing to go. It's not like you was being sent to the black wall. So swear fealty if you accept. But what happens if you decline? If you decline, I need you to be gracious. For the multiple reasons I said before, but I need you to be gracious. I want you to thank your employer for the counteroffer and for considering basically the ways in which you would have been retaining your employment. Acknowledge that it was a very difficult decision to make and respectfully decline. I need you to explain your reasonings to them as to not only you already explained the reason why you were basically uh, leaving in the first place, but I need you to communicate as to the reason why you're deciding not to accept. Clearly communicate that you have decided to take another job offer. If that's the case, or you're taking a new opportunity, I need you to explain that you're taking an opportunity that, let's just say you're not taking another job off the right? I need you to explain that you're taking a new opportunity that better aligns with your long-term career goals. I was gonna say your career needs, but career goals, whatever, same thing. Explain to them that what you're what you're looking at right now fits more in the mold of what you're looking for than what they have been offering. I need you to then leave on good terms. I'm gonna say this again. Leave on good terms. Because you never know what's gonna happen in the future. You never know the people that's gonna be there, who they may be in the future. You might want to, work for a whole new job, and there's somebody at that job who used to work with you. Maybe they're in a higher position than you. Maybe they knew who you were because they saw you at the job interview, and somebody else asked them what they thought about you since they work with you. Like, you never know. The world is smaller it's smaller than you think sometimes. It's crazy. It's very large, and you'd be surprised in a small place, depending on how your character is. You may never run into anyone else. But in the world of business, when it comes to a particular field of business, you'd be surprised how much you run across people over time. So I need you to assure your employer that you appreciate the time that you had at their company, and I need you to let them know that you are grateful for the experiences and for the relationships that you've built. And offer to help. This is very important. Offer to help with the transitions of anyone else that they're bringing in, if you can, along the way. I need you to avoid burning bridges. Do not badmouth your current employer or the counter offer. Don't do it. If you decline it, don't you dare talk ish about them or the counter offer. I need you to maintain your professionalism. Don't talk ish about the coworkers that are there, even the ones that you don't really necessarily get along with. Do not do it. I know it's seething you to just want to tell a mofo off who you never really liked how you feel about them before you go. Do not do so. You may need the references and the connections from them in the future. And also, if you're willing to do that, the people that you are cool with, they may become cool with them later on because you're no longer around. And they might say, you know what? Now that I got to go them a little longer, maybe so and so, maybe they did have it wrong about them. And now you're calling them, asking them for a reference. You do not, I will say this to stress it, not want to go through that. And you need to be best prepared for how you're going to clean things up for the rest of your life. Now, if you're going into a new employer, you're kind of just walking into a new employer and you're trying to dismiss all the bad feelings that you've had about your previous employer. And that's cool. Hopefully you will not carry any animosity, any form of animosity into your new employer, because I do know I have met people who have done so. So hopefully that will not be the case. And if for those who don't, who decide to go their own way because you feel like there are different opportunities out there for you, for your goals, I wish you the most expedient way of getting there. And I hope that you have a lot of fun. I hope that the world is basically treating you in the way that you feel like you deserve. But as far as your contacts and everything, I don't want you to just take the number and move on to the next place. I want you to do yourself a favor too, for building rapport and keeping it. Reach out to those people. It could be a text, it could be email, just it could be on an anniversary, or if you remember their birthday, because keeping birthdays are very important. And reach out to them. Hey, I know it's your birthday. Just wanted to make sure to reach out to you and everything was good. How are you? How's your family? Do that. Don't just fall off the face of the earth and just wonder one day when you would reach out to them and say, hey, can I use your reference? No, you need to keep in contact with these people. It doesn't need to be a full time thing. You don't need to be best friend. You don't need to freaking take them out for beers or shots or whatever. Just unless you're already really good friends with them, but just keep in contact. Anyway, I've been stretching this on for long enough, just trying to talk to you guys about things that I think are very professional. Not that I'm going to tell you I am the gold standard of professionalism, but I have seen how a lot of people move, younger and older, who just don't understand how building rapport, communication is, and how very important it is when it comes to the standards of business. Keep those people in your mind. Keep them in an area where you know you can find them most useful, because if something ever pops up, maybe they will reach out to you as well. Maybe you are doing well on your own, but you want a little something on the side and they have you in mind. You never know. Maybe things are not going too well and you need to be able to move somewhere in the future, and maybe they're still at the same place, or maybe they move somewhere else and they're in a better position to help you out. You don't know if you don't plan accordingly. All right, so this is your guy Resla. I hopefully that you enjoyed uh this podcast. Pretty much, I hope everything is going on with you when you're making these decisions. Hopefully, you're making the most proper decision that's going to be most beneficial for you. And if it is, congratulations to you. If it's not, and you may be going through a little bit of hardships, just want to let you know it comes as part of the process. I don't want you to just feel bad about it. I need you to find a way to actually try to figure out a way to enjoy the process, because on the other side of that struggle will be some good eating if you just keep at it. And if you're not really too sure as to what you want, do me a favor, hit me up. Hit me up whether you just want to talk about some things, or hit me up if you want to go through maybe some topics that you have in your own mind, which is going to be at Reslaopinionated at gmail.com. Resla, which is RESLA, Gmail, sorry, RESLA opinionated. So Resla opinionated, all one word, at gmail.com. This is your guy. Hopefully, you will see me at some other time as I'm putting these audios together, as well as doing my videos, which you can catch me on YouTube. You can just go to youtube.com/@Resla, and that will take you to my page. I don't know who the other guy who Resla is. So it's not opinionated. Go to @Resla on the YouTube search, and I will come up. And I do lives, I do shorts, I do videos, and I will see you in the future. Until then, stay opinionated. See you next time, or hear from you next time.